Hey, dude, man, play this shit right here, man. Play this.
So I saw this video posted by the Shade Room earlier in the week with 50 Cent saying that he would take 6ix9ine over his own son.
You see your son yet? Nah, I ain't heard from 6ix9ine.
We're connecting with people.
He's his mother's child now. He told on everybody.
Because it gives customers.
He better than Marquise though. I take him before I take my actual father.
Wherever they are.
That he said,
Here and we are ready. We are open 24/7 online, so you can keep
yo,
all you need from home and from Verizon.
yo, boy.
Did he just say he'll claim a rat?
Now, before I get into my thoughts about 50 and this whole ordeal, I want to rap a little bit about the importance of good father-son relationships and how they impact black male development. The relationships with our fathers shape us for better or for worse. They are our first examples of manhood and masculinity. Watching how our fathers handle stress, provide for their families, and create relationships with other men as well as the opposite sex basically give us examples of how to blueprint our own lives as men. This gives us the confidence we need to thrive and build good relationships with other males, which bestows us with a positive outlook on life. And having a positive outlook on life is essential to establishing a winner mindset, because that's what's going to aid you in passing down good traits to your sons and being a good example to other boys who may be lacking a father figure or a positive male role model. Now, when a boy is lacking a father or dealing with a bad father, it sets him on a path opposite of what would make him an asset to himself and his community. Now, that's not to say that one can't overcome the negative effects brought forth by these conditions, but when a boy is creating the blueprints for his life with poor or non-existent examples, he'll likely etch a path of destruction, depression, and hopelessness, thus poisoning the well of manhood that other males lacking good role models will drink from.
And good afternoon once again to you. I'm Liz Cho. Charlene is off this afternoon.
I'm David Navarro. We begin this half hour with shocking video. A 15-year-old girl brutally attacked and robbed by a gang of teenage boys in Brooklyn.
You can see they are punching and kicking her until she lost consciousness. The gang of boys even stole the shoes off of her feet and her debit card. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan is live in Crown Heights with the very latest on the search for the suspects. Jim.
Liz, we don't know what started all this, but we know it ended with a 15-year-old girl brutally beaten, unconscious on the ground out here in Crown Heights by a group of young men who stole her credit card, her debit card, and her Air Jordan sneakers and her cellular phone. This all happened yesterday. You see, first one teen pushes that 15-year-old girl to the ground, and more than a dozen others start kicking and punching her so brutally she was unconscious. And as the boys run away, one among them, remember, that girl is unconscious on the ground. One boy pulls her Air Jordan sneakers off her feet, and he walks away with them. We've slowed it down so you can see his face. Police want to find him and obviously everyone involved in this brutal assault yesterday here in Brooklyn. The NYPD sent out on social media today saying this is sickening video of a 15-year-old viciously attacked by a group of school children. One young man takes the sneakers right off the unconscious victim's feet. We can't allow this behavior in our community, that social media post says. Again, police looking for anyone connected with that assault. The video is quite clear. You can make out a number of faces. The 15-year-old girl remains hospitalized.
Cycles of poor behavior are very hard to break, especially cycles that have continued over a span of generations. These cycles have immense power in breaking good habits and creating more difficulties than necessary in black male development. Not only is the black male dealing with marginalization outside of his community, but now he's dealing with disdain and pain from his own people because of the path that he chose based on ideas presented to him through failed or absent father-son relationships. This is a big deal, bigger than many of us can imagine. So when I see black men in the media bashing their sons or wishing harm on them, it hurts my soul. I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea. This is not something that I see often, but this is becoming a common occurrence with 50 Cent and Marquise, and I'm not seeing enough black men speak up about it as much as I'm seeing black women, and it worries me a bit. What 50 is doing affirms negative feelings that black boys may already have about other black men, which in kind influences how we tell our stories. Check out my last video on black male corrective promotion if you haven't already seen it, to get more context on what I mean when I talk about how we tell our stories. These emotional outbursts that we're seeing from 50 Cent are likely due to him having very little positive male role models in his life as well. The fact that he is so unaware or uncaring of how this impacts his own black image and his son's development gives us clues into why his son doesn't respect him and so easily chooses his mother's side over his father's. He's acknowledged previously that his son is being manipulated by his mother, yet still persists with this type of damning rhetoric about his son. And it doesn't help the situation when seeing him show love and affection to his non-black son and to his non-black wife, while seeing him be this toxic to his black family. I don't have to tell you the kind of message this sends to young black boys finding their way in the midst of confusion, which unfortunately happens to be many young black boys, which is changing. So there's hope, but we have to nip shit like this in the bud for that hope to mean anything. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you feel that what 50 is doing is justified? Am I being overly dramatic about the situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the topic. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Later.